Was surreal. You know, you're naked in front of someone that you don't know, and you're just like not attracted to that person, but you're trying to act like it's so wonderful. Back then, you know, there was still like they were putting in our heads that like being slutty is like the way to empowerment. So I was like, yeah, let's explore that. And I found myself in Paris, not speaking the language, not having a job, and I simply needed to do some work to have money, you know. I was walking in this district Pigalle and I simply asked the bouncer if I can go and perform there. So I thought maybe that's a good place to also express my performer side and get some money out of that. Even though I was essentially selling my body, it was still about like me being in control, you know, because it was me who was needed. Very often it was a lot about talking and like sort of naked therapy. When I was doing this job, very often it was like a kind of dissociation, and then I come back to myself from this dissociation and I realize, oh my God, like what am I doing? So I felt the male attention that I was craving for. I had the money, but on the other hand, I also realized that this job was taking a lot of my personal time, because it's not only about the encounters with the clients, it's about writing messages, setting up the appointment. That prevented me from really working on myself and on the projects that can give me this sense of steady growth. Another hard lesson that I realized was that every time I let my boundaries be crossed in one way or another, and this actually happens a lot in this kind of job, there is like an emotional price to pay. With the time, I realized that even like having sex with people that I'm not totally attracted to, this is already a form of violence that I do to myself. This emotional burden was inside me, you know, and it started to take a really unhealthy turn. Even if I was not using drugs or alcohol during the encounters with my clients, it would come after. At the end of the day, what I wanted to do was just like go out, party, spend half of the money that I earned. It led to quite serious alcohol and drug abuse, and this guilt associated with that, plus like all the emotional burden from those difficult emotions that I suppressed. Eventually, I had to go to the rehab. It was also like a wake-up call. I have to just find a different way to live my life, which is not that easy, because I think it's very quick to get into work, but it's not that easy to get out of it. There is this sort of addiction to quick money, which is not easy money, because it's not very easy way of making money. I had very unique experiences and I'm happy about this, but I definitely feel I wasted a bit of time, a bit of health. I wasted a bit of my emotional self while working in strip clubs. I met this photographer from Magnum Photos, Bieke Depoorter. We started a collaborative project. It was very reassuring to have like a well-known photographer following my steps. On one hand, I wanted to dive deeply into my sex work persona. The collaboration is also the text that I write. So this was also kind of a tool to realize who I am or who I want to be. Thanks to this collaboration, I started to commit time to writing, also eventually picking up photography. I'm very positive about my ability to develop in the fields, in the directions that just feel more truthful and more aligned with who I deeply am.